although it doesn't quite feel like Christmas is less than 10 days away, what with the 70-degree weather and me still being in school, I thought I'd talk about, some of my favorite Christmas traditions throughout my life to kind of bring in the season a little bit. So currently I live in North Carolina, and my parents and my brother are the only family I have around. We don't really do a whole lot of traveling since we don't usually have a whole lot of time off, especially since, I used to be a student in school and now I'm a teacher. But I do enjoy going to my parents' house. I love spending Christmas in my hometown. My church has several Christmas Eve services, including one at 11 p.m., so yeah, at night. And we've been going to that late service since 2006, which was the year that we joined my church. My dad grew up Catholic, so he was familiar with midnight masses, or Misa del Gallo, as they're usually called in Spanish-speaking countries. Let's see. So for several years, one of the church members, who's about 2 years older than me, used to recite the passage from Luke from memory, and she used to do it in kind of like a biblical storytelling form, and I just thought that was magical. I loved watching her do that, and that's one of the things I used to look forward to every year. She doesn't really do it anymore, which I understand because she did it for a long time. But I still love the late night service. I love just being there in the middle of the night, knowing you're just about an hour away from Christmas, singing all the hymns we do, and we always finish by singing, turning off the lights and singing Silent Night by candlelight, and then we sing Joy to the World as we leave. And I love just seeing friends who either maybe are still in college and are usually away, or maybe they've moved away for work. So for me, that time, it's kind of cool because it's really late at night, so that's not something you do normally, and then just seeing people that you normally don't get to see, and then seeing them around Christmas time. So that's neat. And then it's kind of like my extended family because, like I said, my parents and brother are the only blood family I have around here. So other Christmas traditions. When I was younger, we used to spend Christmas with our family more often. It was just, I guess, a little bit easier, especially depending on where we lived. So I have a lot of family in Florida. My mom grew up there, so, her family's there. And then my dad, well, his mom's Cuban, so some of her family moved there after they left Cuba. So I still have that family down there. And we lived in Florida a few years, so that made it a lot easier to go see that family. Let's see, sometimes we would spend Christmas Eve with my tia Ceres and my tío Pablo and all the aunts, uncles, and cousins. Those are my dad's aunt and uncle. And I loved going there. That's my Cuban side of the family, and there's always lots and lots of amazing Cuban food. I loved going there as a kid and seeing all my cousins and all the food from rice and beans to yuca, pork. Oh, it was amazing. And then on Christmas Day, especially when we still lived in Florida and weren't too far from everybody, Christmas Eve would spend with like my dad's side of the family because it's a bit bigger in Hispanic culture to celebrate on Christmas Eve. Then Christmas Day would go to my mom's house, my Grandma Carol's house, and then some of my mom's brother, one of them would come down, and sometimes would go into some of my, her sister's house and see those cousins. On my mom's side of the family, though, my cousins are pretty much all older than me, so it wasn't quite the same as going to my dad's side. They were, not quite the same age as me to go play with them, but I still loved just getting to see them. And as a kid, I always actually kind of enjoyed just being around the adults and just hearing them talk, so I never really felt the need that, oh no, I'm not really around kids my age. Again, for me, it was just really nice getting able to spend time with this family that I didn't always get to see that often. And then another favorite Christmas tradition. So before I moved to the United States, I moved when I was 7, my family and I actually lived in El Salvador, which is this little country in Central America, if you haven't heard of it before. And we spent a few Christmases down there. We also would come up sometimes to Florida. We would go to my grandpa's house a lot, not for just Christmas, any kind of holiday. We'd have big family celebrations. And when I say big family gatherings, I mean big. We'd plan for at least 40 people. That's not an exaggeration. And would have tons of food, celebrations. It was a lot of fun. And one big tradition in El Salvador for Christmas is that you set off fireworks. I'm completely serious. It's just, fireworks are a really big deal down there. We would gather, one side of my grandpa's pool, and they would set off the fireworks, or set them up on the other side of the pool, so it'd be a nice safe distance away, and somebody would go over there and light them off. And I'm sure as a little kid I probably enjoyed seeing the lights, I don't really know, but I hated the noise. So when I say fireworks, I guess I really mean firecrackers, because that's really what they were. In Central America, we call them cohetes, which in, I guess, more general Spanish is the word for rockets. And I guess that's kind of what they were because they were loud and they exploded, and I remember standing out there covering my ears because I hated the noise, but I am really glad I have that memory because I just think it's such a cool tradition because fireworks at Christmas is not really a thing in the US. Not really. Like I said, Salvadorians are really big on fireworks in general. They also love shooting them off at New Year's Eve, which also happens to be the day I was born. So, my poor mother in the hospital after I was born was not really quite sure what those explosions were. Partly because El Salvador was at the very end of its civil war. So were those fireworks? Were those bombs? Not really sure. At least my dad was there in the hospital to comfort her and say, oh, don't worry. It's just them celebrating the new year. So, what are some of your favorite holiday seasons? Put them in the comments down below. And I hope you have a wonderful end of 2015, whether you celebrate something or not. And I'll see you in the next video. See ya. Bye.